ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Sri Sathya Sai ParabrahmaNe Namaha. Tapovanam Sri Sai Satcharitra Parayanam Chapter 9. Why fear when I am here? God is neither distant nor distinct from you, Baba. During the time when Sri Kasturi took up permanent residence in Prasanthi Nilayam, Swami used to visit the homes of residents who were then only a few. Thus, those residents could often share the blissful company of Bhagawan. During one such visit to Kasturi's home, Swami asked Srimati Kasturi to sing a song. She sang a Kannada song composed of herself. Ninnu ನಂಬಿ ಬಂದೆ ಎನ್ನ ಕಾಯಿ ಬಿಡದಿರು ಘನ ಮಹಿಮನೆ ಸಾಯಿನಾಥ. ಮೈ ಫಾದರ್ ಸಾಯಿ, ಐ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಯು, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಯು ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫುಲ್ಲೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೇತ್ that you will protect me. Please do not let go of my hand. After she finished, Swami replied to her with his own song composed in Tamil, which was her mother tongue. விரும்பம் முன்னே தருவரே சாய்பாபா வேண்டும் முன்னே தருவரே. Why fear? Even before you ask, Sai Baba showers boons. Even before you pray, he runs to you to give protection. How sweet, how simple, and how captivating is God's wonderful answer to his devotee's prayer. This answer is meant not merely to that lady, Srimati Kasturi. It is most certainly addressed to each and every single person in the wide world who is afflicted, distressed, and suffering. More than that, it is addressed to everyone in the entire universe. Child saved from a truck. The following incident happened in 1955. Residential quarters for devotees were coming up around Swami's residence in Prasanthi Nilayam. Shankar, an 11-year-old boy, was actively participating in the construction activity. A truck loaded with bricks arrived and the boy Shankar was helping in unloading them. After the truck was emptied, he stood at its rear shaking dust off his body and clothes. He did not notice that the driver started the engine and the vehicle was moving backwards. The driver, unfortunately, did not see Shankar and drove the truck very fast. To his utter shock, the boy suddenly found himself pushed violently by the huge vehicle. Petrified with fear and shock, he lost all bodily control and just collapsed where he stood. The inexorable did come to pass. The heavy tire of the enormous vehicle crushed his tender leg. The only thing Shankar could do in that awful moment before he became unconscious was to give out a loud cry, "Swami!" People nearby ran to his rescue, pulled him aside and wrapped a towel around the crushed limb. Totally confused, they did not know what to do next. They could only raise their heads and look towards Swami's residence. To their surprise, they saw Swami standing in the balcony and looking directly in their direction. Before they opened their mouths to tell him what had happened, Swami told them to take the boy to the hospital adjoining his residence. They did as directed. Afterwards, Shankar's brother ran to Swami. He loudly wailed, "Swami, my younger brother has lost his leg." Swami consoled him. "Don't worry, nothing has happened to his leg." As he uttered the sweet words, he pulled back the sleeve of his shirt and showed his open palm. On the palm could be distinctly seen the marks of the truck's heavy tire. Swami told the distraught young man that he had inserted his own palm between the truck's tire and the little boy's leg so that the huge weight of the truck would not bear heavily upon the leg. When doctors found that not a single bone of Shankar's leg was damaged, they were astonished and also very much relieved. Due to Swami's divine will and immense mercy, the boy recovered soon. A similar incident happened in the year 1999. In the month January in the year 1999, the sports day was being celebrated in the Hillview Stadium in Prasanthi Nilayam. Despite Swami's suggestion not to be adventurous, students were displaying adventurous gymnastic skills. It was now the turn of an acrobatic event in gymnastics, in which students were participating in somersault on a truck. Nobody noticed that the nuts and bolts of the iron bars arranged for the event got loosened. Children had completed their event successfully and there was a huge applause. But at the end, Swami did not join the students to pose for a photograph, which he normally does. Instead, he went back to the Purnachandra Hall where he resided. He showed his body to Indulal Shah and to some of the students there. There was blood all over. Swami was bleeding profusely. Everyone was astonished and worried. I lied below the truck and saved the students. Now I have to wash the blood. The kids were requesting me to join them and pose for the photograph. Poor kids, they do not know. Swami said in his usual calm and compassionate voice, God is closer than husband. Kumar was a student in the Sathya Sai college in Puttaparthi. Swami allotted his parents ground floor accommodation in the eastern block close to his own residence. At the evening prayer one day, Kumar sang a bhajan. Sai Pita aur Mata Sai. Sai is the father and Sai is the mother. As Swami sat on his throne quite close by and nodded his head in tune with the song. Swami's eyes were swimming with kindness and compassion. No sooner had the first stanza of the song ended than Swami abruptly got up and hurried out. The boy felt that his singing was not probably the Swami's liking. Swami walked into the residence of Kumar's parents. Devotees who watched the scene were surprised. In recent times, no one had seen Swami thus leave his residence and proceed beyond his precincts. And the residence of Kumar's parents, his mother had a heart attack and was struggling for life. Baba hastened into the house, gave her a glass of water and materialized vibhuti for her. After a few words of solace and encouragement to the lady, he returned to the bhajan hall and resumed his throne. Just then, Kumar's bhajan song was coming to a close. When it was over, Swami spoke to Kumar. Do you know why I hurried out? Your mother was on the verge of dying and I went to save her. Here you were singing. You are the father, you are the mother. How could I sit here enjoying your song when your mother was in agony there? I had to reach her urgently and save her. The lady's husband was all the time present in the bhajan hall among the devotees. His son too was there singing. All the same, only God could rescue the suffering lady. God, undoubtedly, is the closest and the most intimate of one's kith and kin, closer than even husband. God is closer than mother. Swami was to give a discourse in the SAP Kalyana Mandapam marriage hall in Madras, now known as Chennai. Thousands of eager devotees gathered to have his darshan and to hear his inspiring words. His divine form filled them with bliss. After darshan, Swami spoke in Telugu. Chittur Nagaya, the celebrated actor and devotee of Swami, was standing by Swami and translating his discourse into Tamil. The audience was spellbound. They were imbibing the honey-sweet speech avidly, savoring every drop of it. They forgot themselves in happiness at hearing the divine words of their beloved Bhagawan. Suddenly, a small baby, barely a year old and lying in his mother's lap, began to wail loudly. The audience was distracted. Their engrossing spell of bliss was ruined. All eyes turned towards the carrying baby, who was the cause of the disturbance. A few seconds passed. Everyone saw Swami on the dais gently smiling. He extended his open palm towards the crying child in the Abhaya mode, a gesture denoting assurance of protection, but suddenly closed it into a tight fist. That very moment, the child fell silent. None could guess the reason why the baby suddenly started wailing and why he equally suddenly stopped crying. Swami extended the closed fist now towards Nagaya, opened it and said, "A small 25 paise coin got stuck in that little baby's throat and I have removed it. Here is it." Sri Nagaya was completely overcome by emotions or surprise and happiness and immediately announced it over the microphone. He enraptured audience exploded into wild applause. Even though the little baby was right in her own lap, the poor mother did not know what had gone wrong with her child. It is obvious that, more than even one's own mother, God is very much closer. Suicide averted. A young man was employed as an accountant in a firm in Kolkata, now known as Kolkata. His mother was Swami's devotee, but he did not share her faith. It so happened that he was accused of misusing the firm's money. Unable to bear the infamy, he even thought of suicide. His mother wrote to Baba requesting his permission to bring her unfortunate son to Puttaparthi. But not knowing how to send it through post to Baba, she kept her letter behind Swami's photograph in her puja place. Meanwhile, the boy went to a bridge over Ganges. He thought that death would be easy if he jumped into the river. Just as was about to do so, he heard a voice, "Come to Puttaparthi, come to Puttaparthi." He was surprised. "Puttaparthi, Puttaparthi." The words continued to ring in his ears. Thereupon, he abandoned all thoughts of suicide, went to the railway station, purchased a ticket to Bangalore, and boarded a train. Strangely, even the noise made by the running wheels sounded to him like Puttaparthi, Puttaparthi, Puttaparthi. When the train moved fast, the words sounded fast. When the wheels were slow, the words too were slow. On arrival at Bangalore, he went to the booking counter to purchase a ticket for his onward journey to Penukonda. The man at the counter, who knew that if any person asked for a ticket to Penukonda, he would most probably be heading for Swami's darshan. So he asked the young man, "Are you going to have Sai Baba's darshan?" When he answered in the affirmative, he was informed that Baba was presently right there in Vrindavan in Whitefield in Bangalore. The young man stood there, somewhat hesitantly, but the words Puttaparthi, Puttaparthi once again began ringing in his ears. So he yielded to that call and asked for a ticket to Penukonda. In those days, to reach Puttaparthi from Penukonda, one had to cover several miles on foot. Even as the young man proceeded on the arduous way on foot, the words Puttaparthi, Puttaparthi never ceased to ring in his ears. He finally reached Puttaparthi at 8 p.m. and discovered that just an hour earlier, that is at 7 p.m., Baba had arrived at Puttaparthi. At that time, summer training classes were about to commence at Vrindavan in Bangalore. In spite of that, no one knew why Baba had suddenly returned to Puttaparthi. When devotees inquired on this point, Baba explained, "Students who would be arriving at Vrindavan for the summer classes have to be fed. I have come here to collect rice and take it to Vrindavan." Next morning, during the public audience, Swami came close to the young man and addressed him. "Hey, Calcutta, come in." In the interview room, Baba referred to the accusation against him in his office and told him not to get upset about it. He encouraged him and dissuaded him from putting an end to his life. He also told him to stay in Puttaparthi for 9 days before returning to Calcutta. In due course, the man went back to his job. He was thus saved by Baba in response to his mother's prayer, which she could not even send to him by post. His boundless compassion. Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai was once traveling by car from Bangalore to Puttaparthi. One of his students was driving his vehicle. Other cars with groups of devotees were following Swami's car. The ground was stony and rough, the terrain hilly, desolate and silent. A long cobra was crossing the path. The student driver of Baba's car noticed it from a distance. He could not, however, make up his mind whether to stop the car to save the cobra or to run over it. He looked back in the rear seat of the car and found Swami in Yoga Mudra, deep contemplation. He thought, Swami is fast asleep. If the car were to be suddenly brought to a halt, his sleep would be disturbed. Therefore, he sped forward and ran over the cobra. After arriving at Prasanthi Nilayam, the student alighted from the driver's seat, ran and opened the rear door of Swami. Swami got down and proceeded towards the veranda of his residence. The student was intrigued to find a wide smear of mud, like a broad strip on the back of Swami's robes. He said, Swami, your garments are soiled on the back. Swami's reply was, a little while ago I had to go below the car's tire in order to save that poor cobra. Om Sri Satya Sai ParabrahmaNe Namaha. Sri Satya Sai Satcharitramu Tapovanam, the end of chapter 9. Sarvam Sri Satya Sai Charanaravindarpanamastu. Om Sri Sai Ram.
तन्न सर्वप्रचोदयात्